Hey there, welcome back. In this video, we're gonna be trying to check out some Frida challenges. So I'm gonna be just trying to practice Frida on some specific like challenges, and yeah. So this video is just gonna be about practice. So if you are completely new to the channel, then I highly recommend that you check out the content that I have. So if you are like completely new to reverse engineering and stuff like that, then I would highly recommend you check out this playlist. If you are like completely new to Android, then this playlist is for you too. And if you want to practice some reverse engineering and binary and learn a little about binary exploitation, then um, this playlist is for you too. Okay, so don't forget also to follow me on Twitter, on the other, like the different social media accounts too. And don't forget also to subscribe, I guess. You can also activate that notification bell. And if you are like completely new to the channel, then I highly recommend that you check out the other playlists just to understand what we do in this little channel. Yes. Today we're going to be practicing on some of the Flare on challenges, specifically a challenge from 2019. It's an Android challenge, so as I told you last time, I don't remember, guys, if you remember the IRA debugger video, I guess. Yes. I just told you that I'm gonna be bringing the Flare on challenges whenever I have the chance. So basically, I thought this is a great chance to bring up this little challenge for today, which is this little one that we have in here, which is an application just called Flare Beer. So we're gonna be just practicing on this little challenge today. So if you are like completely new to Flare on challenges, so Flare on challenge is actually a CTF hosted by Google each year. So it's just oriented directly to reverse engineering. So if you are like completely new to reverse engineering, you can just play just to learn a little about the challenges and stuff like that. The challenges are going from easy to hard to insane, actually, not just hard, to super insane. So if you are interested in reverse engineering, then I would highly just recommend that you check out those challenges. Anyway, so guys, we try to check the challenge of today. So today we're gonna be just trying to play a little with Frida, just to practice more. We try as much as we can each week to drop a video. So this week video is gonna be just practicing. Maybe the next week I'm gonna be just trying to bring something new to the table. Who knows? Anyway, so we start just by simply just with the simple step that we always do. We check adb install flare beer.apk. So in this video I'm gonna be just trying to use BlueStacks. I know in the previous video, in the native hooking video, I was showcasing to you, I'm sorry, the usage of the emulator of Android Studio. This one is gonna be just using BlueStacks, I guess. So we open up the application and we see that we have this little application that have credits. So credits goes to Marchilotti or something like that. So just this is, I suppose, just the names of the guys that contributed to the design and all of that. So we also check the help. So just prompting to us or printing to us some kind of message. Now if we try to just type in start, we see that create a new flare beer. So I'm gonna be just naming my beer as Iron Bite, I guess. Let's go. So we have three bottoms and we have a beer, and it's actually just gonna be so this is, I suppose, the one that should be making the beer eat, and now he's sad. This is maybe gonna be giving him a ball. Okay, and this is clean, so there is no poo. So what if we try again to feed that little beer right here? So I suppose, yeah, so this is the poo. So if we try to clean it. So yeah, so So each bottom is gonna be doing specific things. So this one is gonna be feeding the beer. This one is gonna be giving the beer a bowl, and this one is gonna be cleaning the poo. So it's pretty straightforward, I think. So it's time just to check out what we have for this little application. So I'm gonna be doing the casual steps, just of trying to reverse back the code. So yeah, I suppose, yeah. If we just go back a little, so this is the application. So I'm gonna be dropping that into JADX, and it's loading. Just have to give it some time. It's over. We check out the resources as we already said in the previous videos, guys. You just have to check the Android manifest. So this is the first thing that you check out. Then you check the main activity. So there's no obfuscation. That's a good thing. And as we can see in the manifest file, so this is the package name. Okay, there's nothing interesting in the manifest file, I suppose. Just simple activities, nothing special, I guess. So we go into the main activity and check out what we have. So now, if we check out the flare beer, no, we should be checking the main activity first. So this is the main activity. So I'm gonna be just closing out the manifest file. So we have there is only well there is the first thing that we should notice, guys, is that this little application is written in Kotlin. As we can see, we see a lot of Kotlin packages, so it's not using just Java. So I suppose it's just using Kotlin, I guess. Anyways, so we have the main activity now in front of us. And the first thing that we should try to check out is the onCreate, since this is the first one in the life cycle of that activity. So just calling out button continue. I suppose this is the one related to this one. So this is like the main activity. So I suppose when you press continue or new flare beer, it's going to be just getting you into the next activity, I guess. So if we press continue, we get into this activity. So I'm gonna be just searching for this continue game on resume. Yeah, on resume is gonna be just creating the button continue. So both of them are actually just creating that button. Um, what do we have? So if it's a new game, then we we just create a new intent to this activity, which is this new activity, and this new activity is actually gonna be calling um, is actually gonna be also calling another activity, which is flare beer activity, as you can see, just by creating a new intent and then just forwarding that intent to this little new activity that we have in here. So this is the flare beer activity that has the logic, I suppose. Okay, so if we try to understand, so this is a CTF challenge, so I suppose there's a flag in this little challenge that we have in here. So the first thing I'm gonna be searching for is I'm gonna be just using flag, check just to check if there is any kind of flag in here. So there is dance with flag. So if we try to go and try to see this dance flag, we see that it's called at set mood. Okay, so is there like any creation of the dance flag itself? Yes. So this is the dance flag method. It's gonna be just creating an input stream and then just forcing that input stream into that byte stream just by reading those bytes, and it's actually just reading them, I guess, from the resources. If we try to press that one, so yeah, it's just trying to just read an input stream from the resources, and then it's just creating a password, then getting that password from that function, as we can see, just get password. I suppose it's just gonna be doing some stuff, and then what is then the dance with flags? Just give me back. Yes, and then it's going to be doing a try and catch method. So by just calling out b array decrypt, just by decrypting the password with decrypting the bytes with that password, and then decrypting the bytes too with that password, and just, I suppose, then printing out the flag for us. So we can try, for example, guys, to hook that functions in Frida. So that function specifically, which is dance with flag, and try to check. Just make make the beer directly once the uh, once the class, which is this little class in here, which is flare beer activity, is created, we can just try to call directly dance with flag and see if we can get the flag directly or not. Okay, so we go into the hook.js file. So I'm going to be trying to write a script that is going to be hooked with Frida. So the first thing that I'm going to be just saying, as we always do, as we already saw, for example, in the previous video of the native methods, we saw that we have to create this little method that starts with Java perform, and then you create the function. So I'm going to be just doing the same thing. So Java perform function. Uh, so yeah, okay. Anyway, so Java.perform function that is going to be having actually a function, yeah. And then we just have to close that one too. Yeah. So the first thing is to select the target class, or yeah, it's the target class. So I'm gonna be just using Java dot use dot com dot fire I dot flare beer, and then I'm just gonna be giving the activity, which is flare beer activities. So yeah, so we go back a little. So we have this little package name, we get it, so we get that one. So this is the package name dot flare. Uh, just we go back a little, which is this one. Yeah, flare beer activity. So I want to be taking that one too. Flare beer activity. Okay, so we have now the target class dot on create. So I'm gonna be trying to play around the on create function of that method. Okay, so the onCreate is called in the Flare bit activity, so I'm just gonna be calling that onCreate function, and then I'm gonna be trying to directly call the dance with flag just to set the mood. Okay, so this one I'm gonna be just taking that. So Copilot is just generating those comments for me. I don't want them. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna be just trying to take right of the try and catch just to show you something. Just you need to make sure when you try to script anything is just to make sure you should be adding them. Just I'm not gonna be using them just to show you something. Okay, so once we create the uh, the activity just by trying to intercept the onCreate method, which is in this case this little guy right here, I suppose, on create, yeah, this little one that is going to be just rendering for us the beer and the activity and the whole activity. Anyway, so I'm gonna be just trying now to hook that into Frida. So the first thing that I'm gonna be just making sure that Frida server is running on the phone. As we can see, it's already running. If you want to be trying to see, yeah, Frida PS, I always forget. Yeah, so the flare beer eye is there. I suppose it's right here for us waiting. So I'm gonna be just using that one. So to run it, you just do Frida-u-f. You just give the name of the package, and then you just give the script that you want to execute, which is hook.js. I suppose now the application should be running again. So if we try to exit, so the difference between -f and -n, guys, is that when you do -n, you just have to give the name of the process. In this case, it's Flare Beer, and the application should be running on the emulator. Otherwise, you should just have to give -f, and if the application is not running on the emulator, then Frida will rerun the application for you, just spawn a process, and then hook hook that code to the process that is running on the emulator. So yeah, so if we try to see, he's gonna be just closing the application, just reopening back the application. I'm gonna be just trying to run continue. So reference error is not defined. So where's that? Yeah, he made some. He has reason about that. So to make sure that I try to hit back the onCreate thing, so I need to go back and then just click continue again, and dance with flag is called successfully in the onCreate, but there is nothing that is happening actually to the application. So how can I make sure that the onCreate is called? So he's saying that the dance with flag is created but is called, but it's not, I guess. So there is a little thing that I want to just tell you guys, that if you try to go into the application itself, just let me go back. We see that dance uh, with flag is actually going to be doing some decryption is going to be doing some decryption for you. So it's actually going to be taking a password and then taking an encrypted data and then decrypting that data based on the password. So I thought, why not just we try to just see the password and then try to mimic that statically in my own computer locally, and then I would get the flag. So this is the first idea that can came into your mind if you don't know Frida. So I thought, how can I get that get password? So I have to regenerate that static code, so I don't have time for that. So I thought I can do that dynamically just by using Frida. So by using Frida, you can just get that value just by trying to store it, for example, into a variable. Let's just suppose it's password. So this, just to take an instance of the actual class that we have created, and then I'm just gonna be calling password and password to retrieve, just password retrieved. And now if I try to go back and try that again, so if we go back and then press continue, we see that this is the flag. So it's flare plus ehdu plus yeah. But here's the thing, guys. When I was playing around that, I thought like, okay, once I get the password, so what I did, I was just getting that password, and I have extracted the encrypted data from the resources, and I was trying to do the same thing that he was doing in the decryption locally in my computer, and then I was getting some garbage like result. So I thought there was an issue with the password or with the data. So the encrypted data wasn't having any kind of issue, but the issue was with the password. So look at that. When you try to press the any kind of buttons inside of the application, and then you go back and then you press continue, you see that the password has changed. So that means that the password is changing with the way you interact with the application. So that means that there should be certain configuration that you should be trying to do to the applications in terms of buttons in order to be getting the right password. So this is a way. This is actually a creative way of implementing this challenge, is to make sure that you should be playing, the challenge in order to be getting the flag, which means that you should be trying to type in certain like bottoms in order to be able to get the flag. That's why I really love Flare on challenges. They are so creative, so good. The way they implement the reverse engineering challenges in their CTF is so beautiful. Anyways, so after just getting that, I guess now you just have to read statically and analyze statically the code of the application. So we have no chance but just to read it. Now it's time to reverse back this little code that we have in here. So I'm gonna be just using all the knowledge that we have in Kotlin, Java, or whatever, just to understand how this application is working. So the first thing that I thought is, we have three bottoms. We have this little guy in here, this one in here, and this one in here. So I suppose we have three features in this application. So I thought there should be a way to call those three features, I suppose. So we have this set flare beer name. So I'm gonna be just skipping that one. I don't give a shit about it. We also have feed. So feed, I suppose, is a feature that we have. So feed is going to be, I suppose, this little like fork that we have in here. So I suppose it's related to some restaurant or something like that. Anyway, so we have feed. So feed is going to be related to this one. So what feed is going to be doing? It's going to be calling some intrinsics that's going to be checking some parameters just to make sure that are not null, and then save activities. So save activity is actually interesting because it's going to be saving each feature with some activity. For example, it saved the feed one. Let me just go back a little. So where is the feed? So yeah, for example, it saved feed one with the activity f, which means that feed is just pointing out to f. And then we have three little functions that are really interesting too. Change mass, change happy, and change clean. That's going to be taking three parameters, 10, 2, -1. And then increment poop count. So that means when you eat something or when you feed the beer, when you feed the beer, he is going to poop, which means that pooping something is actually supposed to be in here. So it's going to be setting the state of a variable called poo, and then just by getting the actual state or the previous state of poo, and then just adding plus 0.34f, just a float number, and then just feeding the UI, which means that it's going to be doing some magic to the UI just to show that the beer is feeding, as you can see in here, which means that he's eating. I'm sorry. Anyway, and as you can see, we also see those poops, so that makes sense. So this is the first feature. So we need to understand change mass. So change mass is going to be setting the state of mass to the previous mass plus mass, which means that change mass is just going to be adding some value to the previous value. So just accumulating what's been in the mass and just adding, for example, in this case 10. For the case of change happy, it's going to be adding 2. For the case of clean, it's just going to be subtracting -1, and so on. Anyway, so this is what the feed feature is having. Now, what if we go and check the other one, which is play, I suppose. So play feature, I suppose, is going to be having also the save activity as P. So it's going to be related to the activity P, and it's going to be having also three parameters, and then he's going to be playing the UI. What about the last one, or the last feature, which is clean? If we go and try to check what clean is having, clean is gonna be also saved as the activity C, and then it's going to be removing the poo, and then changing some other things to the parameters that we have, which are mass and happy and clean, and then setting up the mood. And if we go into set mood, we see that set mood is actually the one that will be just printing the flag for us. So the cases where we're gonna be just having the flag is when we are happy. Is happy is true, and when is static is true. Now if we go and check is happy and is static, we see that is happy is going to be taking the start of the f and is going to be dividing the f with the p. So those are actually the two activities that we have just created. And by the way, guys, by the way, we can, for example, try to retrieve them in Frida, by the way, just to check out what are those values that we have in here. And then he's going to be checking if the stat is superior or equal to 2, and the stat is inferior or equal to 2.5. If they are, then he's going to be checking this little function in here that is going to be checking the variables mass, happy, and clean with three parameters, or three actually constant values, which are 72, 30, and 0. So once we have those values, we can say that the beer is going to be just calling the function, which is dance with flag. So now we have three things just to mention. So as we can see, we have so that um, the B should be happy. So just by getting the start of F and the start of P, and as we can see that the F is related to these three parameters as we have seen. If we just go back a little, for example, to feed, just to show you the example of feed. For example, it was saved with the activity f, and it was related to and it was actually changing these two values, and then incrementing the poo count. Actually, it doesn't matter. So what matters is those three variables that we have, which are the mess, happy, and clean, and it was saved with the activity f. So I was wondering, I wanted just to check out how the f was changing. So I would go and just try to hook that value just using Frida, by the way, too. So var f is get state or get start of f. Uh, but you just don't have to forget to use this because we are pointing to that one. So console.log f. Yeah, that's it. So if we try now to go back to the application, if we go back a little and press continue, we see that f is 11. What if we try to press two times the feed button? So one, two, and then we press continue again, we see that we have 13 now. So that makes sense. So actually the f is actually changing when we press button. So that means that we should be trying to give a combination, just trying to combine those bottoms in a way to just reveal the flag for us. Now we just have to go back a little and just understand how the feed is related to the f. Well, actually, and how the f, which is the save activity f, and for the play to, we have for the play to the p, and for the clean we have a C. How the F, P, and C are related to those three variables that he is changing. So we can just use, for example, now a simple board. So we have F, we have P, and we have C. Okay. And we have also, those are the activities that we have, and we have also um, we have mass, which is related to the f actually, and we have also happy, as we can see in here. By the way, those are the things that I'm talking about, just to make sure that you understand what I'm talking about actually. So just go back to the feed. So I'm talking about those variables, which are mass, happy, and clean. And by the way, this get state actually mass 0 is just gonna be taking the actual value of the mass, and if mass is not defined, it's just gonna be setting 0 as the default value, just to make sure that the operation works perfectly without any issues. Anyway, so we have now happy. We also have clean. So yeah, so we have this one in here, and the clean is related to this guy in here. So as we have, so to be able to make sure that we are happy, we saw this one that should be like verified, but this one doesn't give a lot of information about how we can find the F and P. So the goal, guys, is to find the F and P and C, the different combinations that we should be typing in the bottoms in order to be able to get the flag. So this is how those variables should be actually. So if we go just check, the mass should be equal to uh, the mass should be equal to 72, and the happy should be equal to at the end should be equal to I guess 30, and the clean should be equal to 0. And now, if we try to go and just make sure that we link the activities, or actually, yes, the activities with the different variables that we have, we see that change mass is going to be, for example, for the case of the f, it's going to be just using 10, 2, and -1. So for the case of f, it's going to be using, so you can just get that right away. So for the f, it's going to be using 10 mass, just using the mass. And from the happy, it's going to be using 2. And for the clean, it's going to be using -1. And what about the P now? What about the play feature? So if we go to the play feature, we see that he's using -2 for -1. So I'm gonna be just trying to get rid of that one. Okay, gonna be just taking that one. Yeah, just to be able to write down. Okay, P. No, I don't want to use that. Can you make it? Yeah, I like that. So for the P, we have -2 for the mass, and we have 4 for the happy, and we have -1 for the clean, and for the C, what do we have? So we have uh, we have 6, I suppose. Let me just go back a little for the clean. Yeah, so we have 0, -1, 6, 0, -1, and we have 6. So the goal now is to be able to find. So it's more now like a linear algebra less problem where you have to be finding. So it's actually more like a system where you have like what is the combination of values. So 10f minus 2p plus 0c is equal to 72, and 2f plus 4p minus c is giving you 30, and minus f minus p minus plus 6c is giving you 0. So you have to be solving this little system that we have in here. It's not that complicated, it's just simple. I can, for example, try to just write that back again and just in VS Code. Yeah, just in VS Code quickly, and then just give it to ChatGPT or something just to solve that system for us. So we have D10F minus 2P plus, yeah, that's it, equal to 72, and we have 2F plus 4P minus C equal to 30, and we have minus F minus P plus 6c equal to 0. So I'm gonna be just taking all of that, just opening up ChatGPT, solve this system for me. So maybe you should be able to solve it, I guess. Okay, he's just doing his own magic. So I suppose that we've been like, if you have like any linear algebra course, you should be able to solve it. It's not that hard. So the F is 8, the P is 4, and the C is 2. So we should be typing down or pressing down 8 times the bottom feed, and then 4 times the bottom plane, and then 2 times the bottom clean. So if we try now to just close the application and just opening up in another tab, and we type in, for example, Mike. Let's go. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. 1 2 3 4 1 2, and that's it. So this is basically how you can just I just love flare on challenges. They're so good, by the way, guys. I don't know how to explain to you, but flare on is one of the best reverse engineering like resources you can just practice on. So what did we learn for today? So I'm gonna be just showing you an interesting just one more thing just before I end the video. uh, I want to be just trying to hook this little function in here, which is get, suppose, state or something. No, not this one. So I'm gonna be just getting back. So this little function. So I wanted just to hook this one for you, just to show you something. For example, this get state. Okay. So I'm gonna be trying to hook this get state function. So I'm gonna be just going back to my code. Var this dot get state for example, mass, the variable mass, and with 0. Okay, and then I'm gonna be just logging out that value. So if we try to do this, so I'm gonna be just quitting. Oh my god, I just have now to go back. Okay, cd dash downloads mobile. No, cd yeah, mobile, yeah. Now Frida dash u dash, I suppose we have that one. Yeah. So he's gonna be just opening up the application again. If we press continue, and as you can see, the application is crashing. So how do you know when the application is crashing, especially when you are using Frida? You just have to make sure you add the try and catch. Don't forget this. This is an important thing, by the way, guys. Don't forget the try and catch whenever you are not making sure, you are not sure of the result of the method that you are calling, and especially if it's throwing an exception. Especially if it's throwing an exception. Now, if we try to just call that function back again, now if we just open beer, now it's still crashing. So I need to be just reopening back the application, and it should be okay. Now if we try to press continue, we see that this is the error that was happening, so that's why the application has crashed, because we were not handling that exception. Don't forget that, especially when you are working with Frida. So what are the other interesting things that I wanted to show you? Yeah, I suppose that's it. I just wanted to show you that. Anyway, so guys, I hope you learned something new out of that video. I suppose it's not that long, I guess. We just practiced it a little Frida and showed you how we can just statically reverse engineer some Android application. In the next video, maybe we're gonna be just showing something new in Android, maybe, or maybe we're gonna be seeing um, some advanced stuff. I don't know, just you make sure you hit that sub button, you activate that notification bell, and in the next week video, just be just stay turned on. That's it. Anyway, see ya guys. Bye.